My name is Edwin Zapata, author of the Amazon best-selling book, Your Next Step, New Tools for Financial Abundance Now.
I'm Geraldine Carrier, the author of the upcoming book, Wild Woman, Master the Art of Pride, Presence, and Productivity.
A book can be more than just stories. It can engage your audience, create opportunities, generate leads, but only if you have the book work for you.
BCBtv presents Message to Millions, where we spotlight authors and get their message to millions.
Hey everybody, welcome to Message to Millions, Author Spotlight, where we spotlight authors and get their message to millions. My name is Edwin Zapata, author of the Amazon best-selling book, Your Next Step, New Tools for Financial Abundance Now. And I'm here with my co-host,
Geraldine Carrier, and I am the author of the upcoming book, Wild Woman, Master the Art of Pride, Presence, and Productivity. Of course, we're always excited to be here with you because we are going to be spotlighting one of our authors. We're going to talk about their success stories, what they've done with that fame, and what they continue to do with it. We have an amazing guest today. Her name is...
Well, before we get to her name, of course, we're going to get a little bit political today because our guest is not just special. She was, I should say, former Justice of the Peace Bench of Ontario Court of Justice. She's also the president of Cain Communications. She's a leadership coach, and she hosted her own public affairs television show on Rogers Television. She was the host of Raising Cain, a show on CFRA radio. She was a columnist for the Ottawa Sun. And like I mentioned, she's no stranger to politics because she won 5 consecutive elections, 3 of which she was mayor. If you go to her website, ClaudetteCainCoulas.com, I just gave away the secret, you can get her free downloadable success guide. And of course, she is the author of the book, Ladies, Take Your Place, Leave Your Mark Politically, Professionally, and Personally. Our guest is none other than Miss Claudette Cain Coulas.
I think we should cue the music. What is it? Ladies, take your place. The Who Run the World girls.
And they're wild women.
Welcome.
Thank you for that introduction, Edwin. And nice to see you again, Jer. This is a real treat to be able to chat with you. Congratulations on it, by the way.
Well, thank you. And I mean, it's such a pleasure to us because for me, you have been a mentor of mine. I look up to you, your work, and just the accolades and the level of accomplishment that you've been able to achieve it's unreal, right? And I think because not a lot of people know this about me, that I actually had, some desires to go into politics. And, every time I speak, I talk about, first I'm going to be a lawyer, and then I'm going to be a judge, and then I'm going to be the first female Indigenous Prime Minister of Canada. So again, when I heard Claudette's story and I heard about the things that she has accomplished, she was somebody that I definitely wanted to talk to. And the fact that you're here with us and all of our listeners are able to, pick up all of the information that you have to pass along is truly inspirational. I'm so excited. So let's just jump right in, okay?
Sure.
Tell us about, the journey of becoming an author and what that has done for you.
Well, I'm not any different than most people. Everybody wants to write a book, right? They think about it for years, and that's what I did. But I didn't know where to start. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to get going. And I knew I had a story to tell. I have 4 decades of experience. And why did I write a book? Because I want to help women. It's time that women take their place, not only in their homes, but in their community, in their city, in globally. We have so much to offer. And in politics, in the corporate world, and in our own little backyard, so to speak. And that's why I decided to write a book. I want them to women to help them take their place in society and get that fire in their belly out, get it out, and make the changes to their life and the lives of other people. That's why I wrote it.
So tell me a little bit about, since you've started the journey, because I know you're just about, the book is ready to be released any day now, what has, come up from just actually becoming that author for you?
Well, of course, invitations for interviews, podcasts, keynote speaking, my coaching practice has, of course, increased to more than I had expected, but it's why I did it, right? It's why I wrote the book. And so I welcome those invitations, and I'm speaking at university students, who are coming behind me, and hopefully we'll make that difference. So that's changed in my life. And it also, as I was going through each chapter, I was reliving my life, reliving the happy times, the really dark times. And I often asked myself, would I have done anything different in response to this, in response to that? And, I have no regrets. Maybe the only regret I might have is I should have written my book 30 years ago, but it's, I've lived my life fully. I've been successful, and I still have my integrity, and nobody can take either my name or my integrity away from me. And as long as I follow the right path, that'll stay.
Claudette, you mentioned something at the beginning there where you mentioned how you didn't really know how to write a book, and your brother Gerry Robert, he's the founder of Blackheart Books, and thanks to him is why I was able to write my book as well, and many other authors. But because I could totally relate to that part, and I remember thinking back and wondering, how would I ever be able to write a book if that's also not a skill of mine? And I thought that maybe I'd have to write some type of like Harry Potter style masterpiece of a Bible encyclopedia. And that, just the thought of it, even just remembering it, overwhelms me. So for those that are listening or watching and are thinking to themselves, I have to write this sort of masterpiece. How much of a change was it when you saw that you didn't have to take things to that level, that you can break it down in simple steps? What was that shift that happened when you saw that difference?
That went from I'm scared to death to I can write a book by answering questions. That's what I did. His formula makes you ask questions and then makes you answer them. Now, how simpler can it get? So I thought, like you just mentioned, Edwin, that I'd have to write a book that's, 500 pages and do untold research. I did a lot of research, but it was fun research. I interviewed bright women, intelligent people, coaches who had ideas for me. My mentor of 20 years wrote the foreword for my book. She's 101 years old.
Wow.
She's the former mayor of Mississauga, Mayor Hazel McCallion. She guided me. If she would have told me jump off a bridge, I would have done it. And so I was well groomed. And so when I started this project, I was scared. But once I saw the formula, all you got to do is block off time in your calendar and do. Today I'm going to do this much, tomorrow I'm going to do that much. It's not that hard. And it can be fun because depending on what you're writing on, most people are not going to write about the physics of, I don't know what, to be able to boost their business. It's not going to work. But if you have something that will help people, genuinely help people, and make them believe in themselves, then it's a fun thing to do. It gratifies you. And I shocked myself, because at my age, I forgot a lot of things throughout my life. And doing this exercise reminded me that it's okay to be you. And you don't have to have this many initials after your name.
So Claudette, were you able to take that and apply it into your success toolkit that you have available on your website? which, by
That's
the
what I
way, for
did.
those listening, as a reminder, it's ClaudetteCainCoulas.com. So in that toolkit, in your success guide, Claudette, do you have those same principles there, like for those looking to seek success with what you're coaching?
That's what I tried to do, is give them some keys, some steps, some examples of success. And one of my I've got two main messages, I guess, is if get yourself a mentor or a coach, and don't take yourself too seriously, because it's your message that you need to get across, not you, not me. I'm 4 feet nothing, I'm 72 years old, and I did this and I did that. That's not what counts. It's what your experience can bring to the reader. And hopefully the tips and the steps and the activities and the little stories will really help anyone wanting to make a change in their lives and wanting to make a difference in their life.
Claudette, what would be 3 things, because you mentioned something there, for those listening, and maybe they're curious about finding a mentor and they're not sure, and maybe they're seeking success in different avenues. What would be 3 things that you would recommend to somebody searching for a mentor? So what would be the 3 key things for somebody to look for in a mentor?
Well, the first one is that you got to find somebody that you respect, somebody who you look up to, someone who inspires not only you, but a lot of other people. That's one. The second one is you've got to trust this person. You've got to trust that they have your interests at heart, and that their advice to you is authentic, is honest. You have to be convinced of that. And the third one is you better do what they say, because if they've got the first 2 that you need and you don't take their advice, then why bother? So getting someone that inspires you, that you look up to, someone that you trust, and someone that and you are prepared, that you've got enough guts and enough fire in your belly and enough passion to take on whatever they ask you. Didn't matter what Mayor Hazel asked me. And some of the things, it's almost like she was a psychic. She was telling me stuff that was going to happen. I flew her from Mississauga to Gloucester when I became mayor. And it's the best investment in 8 hours that I've ever done. I threw questions at her all day long. She answered them. I'm taking notes like crazy. And what she told me was going to happen. Like I was just mayor a month here. I didn't know what road was up or down. And she was telling me what was going to happen in about 6 months. And this was going to happen in about a year. And I thought, like, I've been following her for a long time. How come I don't know this? Well, everything she told me turned out to be true. And then when I called her last year and said, Mayor Hazel, would you consider writing the foreword in my book? Well, sure, she said. What are you writing about? And I gave her the title, Ladies, Take Your Place. Leave your mark politically, professionally, and personally. She said, oh, that's easy. Just do your homework. And she rhymed off 4 things that I was supposed to do. And I couldn't write fast enough of what she was saying. So she did write the foreword, and I'll forever be grateful to that champion, because she's a champion for not only women, for everybody. It doesn't matter if you are the street cleaner or you are the president of the bank. She respects you and they respect her the same.
For those that don't know, this woman is a legend. Not just Claudette, but who she's referring to. Anyone in the Toronto area, like
globally, Edwin.
Like she is legendary.
Yeah. She's a global hero, and she's got a gazillion orders from different countries. You know, she has the Order of Canada, of course, the Order of Ontario, but she has orders from like every other country you can imagine as well. And
Claudette, sorry, I don't.
No,
sorry.
go. I'm done.
But I want to ask my question. I'm like, I want to ask my question.
She's just so dying inside. She can't
I know.
wait.
I'm like, come on. But I wanted to ask the question because, you know, as a woman, and it's really funny you use that phrase at the beginning, let's get political, because I actually had, you know, a female who was in my circle at one point, and she said, don't ask questions like that because Gerry gets political, right? And I was that person that always asked the questions, and what about this and what about that? And, you know, when you are that type of person, you know, when you are, you know, willing to go against the grain, you're willing to ask the hard questions, and you really want to, you know, make change. You know, sometimes you can get coined as a hard to deal with person, or other words that, you know, are put in place when women, you know, talk back and ask questions and they don't just lay down and take things. You know, it can be hard to be in those type of positions, especially politics. You know, why is it important for women to take up space in those areas?
Well, you put a lot in that question, but first of all, we make up more than 55% of the population, number one. And in our Canadian Parliament, we've elected more women than ever the last federal election, but we're still at below 28% represented there. The same goes in the corporate world. It's under 30% women in executive roles. It's a man's world. We've got to accept that. We've got to understand that, and then forget about it. If we believe in ourselves, if we have something unique to offer, and I believe that women bring something totally different to any decision-making table, and that's taking nothing away from Edwin or any man. We don't have to put them down to bring ourselves up.
It's a balance.
It's a balance. And we have to show ourselves, show what it is we have to offer. And if you're authentic, if you're passionate, if you make common sense and you can think on your feet, you don't have to have all the answers when you decide to put your name on the ballot. As long as you're willing to learn, as long as you're honest, because, you know, it's easy to attack politicians, even more women politicians. They're more concerned about your hair and the length of your dress than the proposals that you're putting forward that may be life-changing to your community and the people in it. So we have to work a little harder when we're women, because, you know, we're termed aggressive, we're termed, well, you name it. There's a lot of names that we have, right? But as women, we bring something unique to the decision-making table, whether that be in politics or any other area of life. But in politics, I say in my book, and I tell everybody, it was my dream job. I mean, 20 years of getting up in the morning and jumping out of bed because I can't wait to go and solve these problems, you know? And when you're happy, when you're helping others, you're not really working. So I didn't work all that time.
I love it. There's so many things that I want to ask. And of course, we only have a little bit of time, but I want to end off by asking you, you know, if you can kind of wrap it all up and put a beautiful bow on top of it, what would you say your message to the millions would be, or message to millions?
The first thing is you got to believe in yourself, right? You got to believe that you got to get the cobwebs out, the fear out, and believe that you're authentic, that you're real. So believe in yourself and focus on what inspires you. What gives you that passion? What gets you going that you want to jump out of bed and get your job done? You've got to really focus in on that why. You don't need to know how yet. Just believe in yourself, focus on what it is you want, and then dare yourself to take the risks and the chances that you need to take to become the CEO of your own life, and then make dramatic differences in the lives of others. That's my message.
Thank you so much. So, of course, I do want to make sure that everybody takes advantage of the opportunity that is on the table from Claudette. Of course, we will put the links for you guys to go ahead and find her book and her offer and her keys to success. Thank you so much, Claudette, for being here with us. I want to, extend to everybody that is listening, thank you for continuing to be here and be a part of this journey with us. We do, of course, want to give you a free gift for being here, which is Gerry Roberts' book himself, Millionaire Mindset. And you can get that at bit.ly/BCB books. And again, we'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much.
BCBtv. Believe, create, become.